Alright, well let's get right back working on this thing. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It'd be a big encouragement to me, also help me grow and be able to do better projects in the future. So I guess let's get right started working on this thing. I guess we're going to start with putting some guide coat on this upper pillar. I just picked it up, so let's put some of that on. Test it with the big block with a little bit finer grit, maybe like 120, and see if we can see any lines in it or dents, anything like that that we might need to fix. And then let's move on to the upper part on the roof. So just like that, we want to find mist over it, not completely covered. Now let's sand it off and see what it looks like. We'll probably damage it sanding other spots, so we'll probably have to redo some anyway, but I'm just doing this for curiosity's sake and see how well it turned out already. So we waited a couple minutes, it's nice and dry, so let's start sanding. I'm going to use 180 grit sandpaper actually. So let's just start and go in a crosshatch pattern. Alright, so really quick we can see it's looking quite good. We do have a couple dark spots here, meaning it's a little bit low. So we'll probably have to fix that, but we have some problems up here anyway we gotta fix, and we have to finish doing this, and while we're doing this we might run into this edge and have to fix some stuff or stuff like that. So it's not a big deal, we'll have to fix it anyway, so I guess let's just start working on the top here. Alright, well, we got all this welded up. This bracket is welded in really tough, probably better than the factory, honestly now. The floor is all welded in solid. Everything's looking really good, so now we just have to grind some of those welds down a little bit, and then we'll be able to clean this up, put the resin jelly and the fiberglass on this bottom floor right here where it's cut. I don't need to, but I want to, so we'll do that. And then once we grind all that down and the outside, we can put on our seam sealer that I picked up. So I just got a quart can of it and just brush it on pretty thick where we want, and so we can adjust how we want it. But I think that'll be a lot better than trying to use a caulk gun and seam sealer in a caulk tube. So I got that, so I guess that's probably the next thing we should do. Well, we got this stuff all cleaned up, so I guess now it's time to put on some seam sealer.
Look at that. That is some sticky stuff.
Alright, well, I gotta run for the evening, but I'm quite happy with the progress we made. There's only a couple spots I didn't put seam sealer, which is underneath the car right here because there's some rust I want to fix and deal with yet. And then up here where I cut the roof, I want to put some seam sealer there. But everything else is done, so I guess we'll get right back working on it tomorrow morning. Well, it's the next day, so let's get right back working on this thing. The first thing I'm going to do is scuff up this corner right here as a little dent. So let's scuff this up, put a thin layer of Bondo on to make that flat. And then while that's drying, we're going to put a bead of seam sealer on the cut, where we cut the roof up here, inside, just to make sure all that's sealed up. And then let's get right to sanding the roof. Hopefully by this evening, we can have the roof entirely done and primed, or at least ready for primer. So let's get right to it. Well, it's looking really good, but we do have a little problem. The metal here where I welded and where the two pieces meet is pushed up a little bit. So I'm going to have to grind that down really quick. Might use the grinder or something, and then we'll have to redo Bondo over that. But the rest of this is looking really good. There are a couple dimples in it that I'm going to have to fill. But other than that, the edges are looking really good, and I'm really happy with it. Well, sadly, that was something that was overlooked. So you do want to always remember you'd rather have it indented because you can fill it than it protruding out. So now I'm going to have to clean that really good, get off all the stuff that's flaking off now with the old resin jelly. And now I'm going to have to redo it with resin jelly first and then body filler over the top of that. I'm not going to use fiberglass this time because it doesn't really need it. I just need to put on the resin jelly for the waterproof components in it to make sure it's all watertight. So let's put that on quick. Well, clean it, then put on the resin jelly, then let that dry, sand it, and then we'll be able to put on body filler again. Alright, well, this stuff is all dry. I had to run about an hour away to pick up a dual battery charger and an extra battery for the camera. So I'm finally back from doing that, but I guess let's try to finish up this top part right here. well, we got all this tested. We put guide coat on it. Everything is looking quite nice. But let's put on some filler primer so that we have one even coat over this whole top here. And that way we can look across it and see if we can see any imperfections in it. Because it'll be a lot easier to see that way than when there's so many color differences. We do still have to fix this little bit right here, but that shouldn't take long. And that's under here. So let's just prime the whole top of this for now. Alright, well, this corner that we fixed is looking really good. Can't really see any problems with that anymore. But up here, I am trying to figure out still if this is actually a bump that I'm seeing, or if it's just my brain tricking me from fixing it. But whether or not that is, this hole that we fixed here is still showing up a little bit under really good light, and also a couple of the edges of the Bondo. So we're going to need to fix that a little bit. Then all we have left is this back edge right here. We need to finish that, and we need to finish this, and we'll be done with this whole top part. So I guess we'll have to keep on working on all that. Well, I'm quite happy with the progress we made. It took a lot of time, and we didn't accomplish a whole ton, but it takes a lot of time to do this stuff. So I am happy with it. We did get this top part primed here. It does look like we have a couple spots we need to touch up on that. And then we need to finish up this cut right here and the one on the back. And then we'll be done with this whole top corner. So that'll be really exciting to get done with that. And then we'll just have the rockers and a couple of other little spots that we'll have to fix. But I'm really happy with the progress we've made, and we'll just keep on working at it. I'm not sure if I'll be able to post a video next week or not, depending on how long it takes me to do these rockers and everything else, fix this. So I'm going to try with everything I have, but please forgive me if I don't. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It'd be a big encouragement to me and a big help. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.